All right, so here we go. The Jailer. There's a couple of interesting interviews that's been done about him. There's a couple of interesting lines that continuously pops up around him. But there is almost guaranteed something strange going on here, right? As I just showed you guys with this cinematic from Sylvanas, right? Through the Jailer, control of our fate will at last be possible. You have the bitch at the end of Icecrown, the Morsworn that you kill. I can't remember what her fucking name is. But when you kill her at the end of it, or at least when you're building up to killing her, she sort of talks about the remaking. Herald Demora, thank you so much, Jock. Really appreciate that. Yes, Herald Demora, right? She talks about the remaking. How the Banished One will be set free and he will remake it all. Steve the Newser, in his interview, right, speaks about the Jailer and again refers to him consistently as Death. I told you guys this before. The Jailer refers to himself as Death. His servants refer to themselves as Death. Steve the Newser refers to the Jailer as Death. I do not think, and I think this now more than ever before, I think we're misunderstanding the entire fucking plot of World of Warcraft. This is not about the destruction of the universe one way or the other. The Jailer doesn't want to do what Sargeras wanted to do, right? Sargeras saw and learnt about the Void Lords, and he instantly wanted to destroy everything. But if we start thinking about these as mere powers, and you guys know what time it is. You guys know what time it is. No, I don't want to fuck yeah, let's just do that. Okay. Map time. So start thinking about these maps, yeah? Start thinking about these maps as, or these powers. So don't think of them as enemies, right? Don't think of them as enemies. Don't think of them as allies or friends. Purely think of them as power. Demora, right? The Morsworn at the end of Icecrown Citadel, or of Icecrown, states that death will be the only thing that remains. In other words, death isn't the end. Death will just be the only thing that remains. So death is yet another thing. It's another thing that exists. It's another power that exists. So if you stop thinking about these things, life, order, shadow, death, disorder, and light, as friends or foes, and you just think of them as powers that want control over the universe, then death being the only thing that remains, I believe that the Jailer himself is death. Not the Winter Queen, not Sidon Athreus, not Caristia, I think it's Caristia, the Archon, not even the Primus. They are not death. They are eternal ones. I might go so far as to say that the eternal ones do not come from death itself. They are the result of a war that took place long before our time even on Azeroth. They are the result of the invasion of the realms of death and the overtaking thereof, right? We already have confirmation from Steve the Newser that nothing in the Shadowlands, and Canal, thank you very much for that line, because that reminded me of it. Nothing in the Shadowlands is as it seems, right? If you think X is true or Y is true, you're most likely wrong. You almost have to look at the Shadowlands as sort of opposite fucking world. So if they tell you this is an enemy, there's a very good chance that this might not be an enemy. So he uses the following examples of this. Bastion, this beautiful, pure, almost light-filled realm, but there is darkness that exists within it, a crazy fucking darkness that exists within it. And then you go to Ardenweald, this place of nature and beauty, but again, there's death there. There is a crazy amount of death. So yeah, almost like Bizarro World, that's the sort of that's sort of image you have to have about the Shadowlands. It is opposite world. And clearly things is not functioning within the Shadowlands as it should. There is something that was sort of interesting to me. I don't know if you guys remember, someone shared this with me on Discord. I can't remember who it was. Let me just quickly check the DM. I have not looked into this yet as much as I probably should. Cash. K-A-S-H. I don't know if you're in the stream, but Cash shared something with me, and I haven't looked into the whole of it. But do you guys remember the Maw of Souls, the dungeon in Legion? Alright, the Maw of Souls in Legion. The dungeon where you kill Helia, well, you fight Helia at the end of the dungeon. It is absolutely filled with all of these ruins from that effectively at least look similar to that of the jailer, right? The big thing, however, for me about the Maw of Souls is that it's called the Maw. That was the thing that stood out to me. It's the thing that I completely forgot about. I ran the Maw of Souls a million times, and I completely forgot about the fact that this is called the Maw of Souls, and we have the Maw as one of the zones that we're going to go through. The Maw of Souls would have been how souls flow, right? At the time, we were on this boat, and when you die, the boatman, we all understand the concept, right? We all understand the concept that they're trying to relay to us in that dungeon. We know that they are not the same, but they are connected. The River Styx would be the best example of that. Exactly, Mr. Night Creature. So you do have the River Styx, which is meant to be the River of Souls. We also coincidentally have this giant river that runs throughout the whole of the Maw. It's called Gargua, the River of Souls. So let's go back even a little bit further to the Shadows Rising, where Nathanos and Bwonsamdi speaks to one another. And what does Bwonsamdi tell Nathanos? What the lords have given can so easily be taken away. The lords of death, what the lords of death have given can so easily be taken away. I believe that's the exact quote that came from the book. I haven't read it in a while, so I might be a bit off, but that is the gist of it. The lords of war. Now, Bwonsamdi surely doesn't know everything that happens within the Shadowlands, but we have confirmation that Bwonsamdi can see into the Shadowlands. We know that Bwonsamdi knew something was wrong within the Shadowlands, so that stands to reason that Bwonsamdi would know who is working with who and why the jailer is banished. He would at least have the sort of footnotes, if you will, of all of this happening. Bwonsamdi says, what the lords of death have given can so easily be taken away. And he's talking specifically about Sylvanas and the powers that she has. As I said to you guys, what if the Eternal Ones of the Shadowlands is the result of a war that transpired eons ago? The Lords of Death were overthrown by the other cosmological forces. And in my estimation, the best example of these cosmological forces and the attacks that they've launched would probably be Life Order and maybe Light. These would have been the three that I would say most definitely is represented within the Shadowlands. Right? I can see the Eternal Ones belonging to one of these, if that makes sense. So then you have the Jailer and his brothers, who would make the Eternal Ones of Death, being overthrown by the Eternal Ones invading their world. And perhaps they threw his brothers into Torghast and turned him into the fucking jailer of his own brothers. So how did you think this ties into the Void? I don't think the Void ties into this at all. I genuinely do not think, because here's the thing. Whenever they talk about the jailer, they're all talking as if he is death. Demora, at the end of Icecrown, explains how the jailer, the banished one, she calls him the banished one, by the way. She never refers to him as the jailer. She only refers to him as the banished one. And by the way, so do everyone else. Most of his servants only refer to him as the banished one. Nothing more, nothing less. He is banished, that's it. That's who he is. But she states that he will reclaim what is his. He will remake the world and reclaim what is his. To reclaim something means that it at some point must have belonged to you, right? The fact that they say he will reclaim it means that at some point it must have been his. So is there anyone in chat right now that is against that theory? Anyone in chat right now that can provide me with actual evidence that would kill that theory? Because that, by the way, is the reason for me doing the live streams. I want to be challenged on these things. Beer. The world's soul? You think he wants to claim the world's soul? We've spoken about that at length as well. Why would Azeroth's soul belong to him? You know, the hole in his chest, a lead? Hi, dude. The problem with that lead is it leads to a million different places. I mean, we've discussed it like to death already. We genuinely don't. His sister is actually one of the leading theories we have, by the way. We wonder if Azeroth isn't his sister. That's one of the leading stories we have. And I genuinely believe that there might be some double speak that's going on. Right? So Demora states that death comes for the soul of your world. Now, on the surface, that means the jailer wants to kill the soul of the world. But what can it also mean? It can also mean that the entity known as death will come to claim the soul of your world. And then it is said that he will reclaim what is his, and that he will remake the world. And then at the end, she states, in the end, only death will remain. What if Azeroth wants to be his bride? I'm thinking the same. I wonder if Azeroth wasn't removed from him maybe by force. Yeah, being claimed by death can mean that that death is coming to kill you, but it can also mean that death is simply coming to claim you, right? Not necessarily kill you. There is a sort of double speak that exists within that, right? So the soul of Azeroth used to be related to the jailer in some way. The Ultimate Alien, I can see that being the case. I'm not saying that is the case, though. I just want to be clear on this, guys. What we are referring to here and what we're speculating on right now. All right, so just for those of you that didn't know, let me just quickly do this. I just want to show you guys so that you understand what is going on here. You can take a look at the amount of videos we've made. I think we've made over 150 videos in the last 2.5 months. Yeah, if not more. We've done a crazy amount of videos about the Shadowlands. We've pretty much speculated on everything there is to speculate on. That's obvious, right? The world of speculation that we exist in right now is like, shall we say, fucking, let's think about this, Alex Jones levels of speculation, right, if you will. Right? We've gone above and beyond of what is reasonable. We are now in the world of we genuinely don't fucking know. We genuinely don't know. We have small little strands on things that we can go on, and that's it. And it actually works out perfectly, just for those of you that think, oh my god, so Akalon is just talking crap. It works out perfectly. Without even trying to plan it, we planned it perfectly, right? Because once Shadowlands goes live, you can bet your ass there's going to be a million new theories that develops as we play through it. So we spaced it out in such a way that we ran out of legitimate theories just before the new source of legitimate theories comes, so that we can continue speculating. But even this, all of this is still part of, like, when was this? This was in April, right? So just crazy fucking videos, crazy amounts of videos that we've done. So yeah, I don't have much or many obvious things left. Most of the things now really goes to the so shall we say it goes to the fringes. As Apocalypse said there, the tinfoil mine. We're going deep, boys. We are really now scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel. We need to go down a new route. We need a new vein, and Blizzard needs to provide that to us. But my speculation theory as it stands right now is that Zovaal is not an eternal one. Not the same as the Primus or, going deep. Exactly, as deep as we can. And I see what you did there, Amanda. Filthy mind. Love it. Not as the Primus. They're not the same. They are not the same. So yeah, I think that Zovaal is death. I think Zovaal is death. I think his brothers might be locked up inside Torghast, and his bride or his sister became the very battery that holds the Great Beyond together. That's what I think. That's just, I'm gonna throw that out there. That's my fucking theory. You don't have to agree with it, but that's my theory. And we'll see, right? We'll see as we get closer if I am fucking correct.